Hello, welcome to Encore. I'm Richelle Harrison Plesse. Thanks for joining us. Coming up. A concrete jungle engulfing everything in its path. Chongqing in China is one of the fastest growing cities in the world. From farmland to sprawling metropolis, award-winning photographer Tim Franco has captured this transformation in Metamorpolis. Images that are on display at Paris's Circulations Festival, which shines the spotlight on up-and-coming photographers. Tim Franco, thanks very much for being with us. Now, you were based in China for 10 years and you spent 5 years documenting the rapid urbanisation taking place in Chongqing in southwest China. The country is full of megacities, so why this one in particular?
Well, I was always fascinated by the transformation of the cities, and I was living in Shanghai, which everybody knew about, and I wanted to show like some kind of different city, and so I went around and visited all the secondary cities, and by far Chongqing is the most fascinating because it's one of the fastest growing city in China because a lot of reasons, mostly because of the three gorgeous dam project. A lot of migrants had to go into the city, and also because the Chinese government emphasized the city as being one of the major economic pole of central China. So it made it really the fastest growing city, and also because it's kind of placed in between mountains and rivers, the whole city is really fascinating to photograph, really.
Okay, well, let's take a look at some of your work, which is published in this book titled Metamorpolis. Such beautiful photographs. Tim, you met so many people during this project, I imagine. Were there any stories that really stayed with you?
Along the way, I mean, one of the main focus was really looking at the social impact of this fast urbanization, and especially looking how it affected farmers and rural people, because as we know, like China went really from a very rural country to urbanizing really fast. So I spent a lot of time meeting with those farmers that used to live in the farmland, and their land has been taken by the government, and they've been offered an apartment and a way into the urban life. But very often it's a nice upgrade for their lifestyle for sure, but they're totally unprepared to live into the city. So especially if they're over 40, 50 years old, they have no idea how to find a job. And
right.
So most of those characters I've portrayed in the farmers inside the city is because basically they live in a city, but they come back to the only thing that they know how to do, and it's like growing vegetables right inside the city. And I think that was very interesting to have their kind of their story, and seeing them like really going on the side of a construction site, and just like doing the only thing they know how to do.
Okay, well, you're obviously a Westerner in China. Were the Chinese people open to being photographed? Were there any challenges at times?
I think, especially in the secondary cities, is much more easier than in the most famous city, because people are more curious about a foreign presence taking photograph. And no, I think in general, and also the fact that I can speak I can speak Chinese, so it makes
right. You're fluent in Mandarin.
I'm okay.
Of course, 10 years.
Yeah, it makes things much easier because
sense.
you can explain what you're doing. You can And when you tell the people in the cities that you're actually interested in what's going on, whether it's good or bad, they are more happy to explain and to be open, and they're actually quite happy that we're talking about their city and and give it to an international audience. You know, like they want to give their voice and their point of view.
But was there a sadness or even recognition that something was being lost, something important was being lost? When it comes to, you know, the historical center, for example?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's they're not there yet because you have to see that 20, 30 years ago, I mean, 30, 40 years ago, it was the Cultural Revolution, and the country went so much backwards. So for them, all of this, seeing the economy growing, the city becoming more modern, it's really such an improvement of quality of life that this goes first. I mean, the fact to think about like the history, the culture, it's something that I think is going to come later. Basically, cities like Chongqing, they go through what Europe went in 150 years in a matter of 10, 15 years. So
Wow.
So for them, it's really the quality of life is going first, and I think maybe this is going to come in the next 20 years, like to think about history.
But not just yet. Well, another project of yours is First Light, a series of photos of fishermen on a trawler in Brittany. You're half French. Your father is from Brittany. Was this a way to connect to your roots, reconnect to your roots?
Yeah, I mean, I've been living for almost 12 years in Asia now, and mostly in like those big cities, like I've been photographing, and for the past few years, I've been going back more and more in Europe and visiting my family in Brittany. And I really felt much more close to this part of my life. And I really wanted to reconnect more. And so last year, I went on a project with another photographer, videographer of mine. And we wanted to explore this region, meet the people, tell the stories. And so there is another main project, but the First Light, it was also a dream of mine to really reconnect with those people who have a work that is really close to nature and real. Because when you live in a city, you meet all those people that you don't really know what they do. Their work is not really related to concrete things, and so I really wanted to go on this journey of 18 hours in the sea and seeing how those people are really, and their life is intense. I mean, I felt like so small next to them. Actually, it was really interesting.
Well, another photographer has embarked on a similar project. Frédéric Briouat spent half a decade documenting the day-to-day lives of trawler fishermen working off the French coast. The collection of photos, titled Vague Alarme, roughly translates to teary wave. Take a look.
Ça va, la forme?
Allô.
La forme?
Fatigue, emotion, that's what I look to communicate in my photos. I try to capture a certain look or a gesture. After about 5 hours, they don't notice me anymore, so they're natural.
An outstretched arm in the shadows, Frédéric Briouat is almost an extension of the boat he's aboard, an eagle eye ready in a snap.
Look at this interesting section here. It's a man on the deck as the water splashes against the boat.
Beyond the catch of the day, Briouat fixes his lens on the fisherman at the end of the line. 5 years of observations have been compiled by the French photographer into a book, Vague Alarme.
It characterizes everything, the man amongst the elements, the seagulls, a lost look, waiting to reeling the catch.
It took 40 years for Briouat to transform his passion from a pastime into an occupation. A clear-cut vision, his black and white stills capture the depths of life out at sea.
It adds something extra, exposing a side of the trade that we don't often see, the shades of grey.
It's an artistic choice that reinforces his unique perspective. Briouat isn't just a spectator on the sidelines. To get the shot, the photographer isn't afraid to get his hands dirty and his feet wet.
The hard part is to be amongst the action, to be at the heart of the energy.
Energy gleaned from a wild sea full of fish to catch and moments to capture. And as the crew work through the night, Briouat's images cast a new light on their toil.
Great photos there as well. Tim, you're in Paris for the Circulations Festival. Your work is on display at the 104 until the 5th of March. It's your first outdoor exhibition in the French capital, I believe. How important are festivals like these for young photographers?
I think it's always nice to have your photos displayed at a festival. And I think for me, the best thing was to actually meet a lot of other great photographers and exchange ideas and really it's also it gives you a good image for future projects. But I think for me the best was to meet a lot of excellent artists.
Okay, well, another photographer worth checking out at the Circulation Festival is Jeff Bonificino. His exhibition West Horizon focuses on the idea of territory and challenges perceptions of space. Tim, you're a fan, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I had the pleasure to meet Jeff at the festival, and I was really impressed by his work. And I think he has a lot of excellent series to look at.
We'll leave you with a clip of Bonificino's work currently on display at the festival. A reminder that Circulations is on in Paris until the 5th of March. Tim Franco, once again, thanks very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
For more arts and culture news, head to our website and connect with us on social media. Stay with us here on France 24. Lots more coming up after this.